There are a total of 15 Skyview Towers in Tears of the Kingdom. Going to these Skyview Towers are how you unlock the specific area of the map and will allow you to traverse Hyrule much easier. These towers are shown by glowing lights in the overworld and are relatively easy to spot when looking at them. Some of these towers will allow you to walk in, scan your Puripad, and immediately be able to fly to scan the area. Others, however, require a small puzzle or something you have to do in order to unlock them. The first Skyview Tower you get is by doing the main story quest with Pura, and it's pretty self-explanatory, and since it is sort of part of the story, we won't go over that one in depth. It's the first area that the game tells you to go to after jumping off the Skylands. The coordinates are -0293, 0137, 0025. You'll do a small quest and eventually end up unlocking this tower, getting shot into the air, and ultimately unlocking your paraglider, as well as that area of the map. And if your first impression with this is the same as mine, your jaw will be on the floor as this cutscene is super awesome the first time you see it. The second Skyview Tower we will go over is Lindor's Brow. Lindor's Brow is located to the northwest of central Hyrule on the mountain right past the New Serene Stable. The coordinates are -1901, 1243, 0297. The weather is relatively neutral, so you won't need any elixirs or cold or heat resistant gear. When you get to the top of the mountain, you'll notice that there is a lot of water surrounding this area. And if you don't have that much stamina yet, there's no way you will be able to swim across the water and climb this rock all at once. There is some building materials you can get to build a makeshift boat or something here to help you get closer to the edge, but I personally don't think that's necessary to get this tower unlocked. If you walk over to the side, you'll see a cliff with 2 ledges on it. This will allow you to swim across the water, climb the cliff, and get a little rest before climbing more, and climb again until you get to the top. You'll then climb the stairs to the tower, scan your Puripad, examine the platform, and then you'll have that part of your map scanned. Rospro past Skyview Tower is the 3rd tower on this list, and it's located northwest of all of Hyrule in Hebra, north of Gerudo Village. Coordinates for this shrine are -3686, 2342, 0233. For this tower, it is cold, so you will need either cold resistant elixirs or gear to do this one. If you have started the main story quest for Tulin or even completed that one, you can have his ability to gust wind to help you fly from a high point on the map. This isn't completely necessary, it's just very helpful. Once you're here, you see tons of spikes around the tower. You cannot just walk through the spikes and deal with the damage, you actually cannot go through the spikes at all. So the best way to get rid of the spikes is by shooting them with a fire fruit attached to an arrow or just by throwing the fire fruit at them. You can either wait for them to burn and walk through, or you can get out your paraglider to fly above them if you're impatient like me. Once you do that, you can enter the tower, scan the Puripad, and fly to get all the information needed for this area. Pikida Stonegrove Skyview Tower is the 4th tower on this list. You will find it northeast of the Rospro past Skyview Tower and directly east of Hebra East Summit. That's a lot of easts. Coordinates for this tower are -2318, 3066, 0443. This one is also a cold climate, so be sure to have your cold resistant elixirs or gear before trying to make it to this one. Once you climb the mini mountains to get here, again using the help of Tulin's Wind Gust if you have it, but also again it's definitely not required, you'll arrive at the Pikida Stonegrove Skyview Tower. Before you make it all the way, there are a few Zonai constructs here, so be prepared to fight them. There's also a treasure chest right in front of the tower if you'd like to get another Zonai charge. Now there are multiple platforms that can make it difficult to make it to this tower's final platform. I recommend holding a bundle of wood and flint, throwing it down, striking it with a weapon with a stone attached or just a metal blade weapon to create a fire. Then throwing in a Hylian pine cone to create a wind gust, ride that wind gust to get to the final mountain plateau, then you can enter this tower, scan your Puripad, and go up to scan this area. The 5th tower we will cover is the Thyphlo Ruins Skyview Tower. It is located directly north of Lookout Landing and Hyrule Castle and the Great Hyrule Forest. Coordinates for this tower are 0343, 3133, 0180. There's no special climate for this tower, so you won't have to worry about gear or elixirs. When you arrive here, the tower is nestled in all sorts of Zonai ruins. When you get to the tower, Bilson is standing here saying that the tower is out of order. So you can't just scan the Puripad like we have been for the past few. We have to use the hints he gives to fix it. You'll notice that there are tons of Zonai platforms that you can manipulate with Ultra Hand. You can ascend through the lower one and attach a rocket to try to get it up there. Or honestly, the easiest way is just to attach the rocket to your shield to ride it up to each one of these platforms. There is a rocket on a bunch of these platforms. Once you make it to the top platform, you'll want to jump off the edge but don't fall all the way off. This way you will be able to move the topmost platform that is blocking the tower from opening. Once you do this, go down to the bottom where Bilson is and he will be amazed that it's fixed, and you can now use the Puripad, scan it, blast off, and get the information needed for this area. Eldin Canyon Skyview Tower is next on our list. It is located northeast of Lookout Landing, right below Eldin Canyon and above Lanayru Wetlands. Coordinates for this tower are 1637, 1183, 0225. You'll have to climb a mountain to get here, and the climate isn't too bad, so no gears or elixirs are required. Once you arrive here, you'll notice that the tower seems to have stuff laying everywhere. When you walk up the stairs and talk to Salson, he tells you that a big chunk of the Sky Islands fell and damaged the tower. This caused the lid on the top of the tower to fall off, and now there's a big hole in the top of the tower and the door is jammed. This is your hint. There's stuff that fell from the sky, no way through the door, and a hole in the top of the tower. You're going to want to find a piece of the Sky Island that fell, reverse it using recall, ride the piece of the Sky Island up, and then fly into the opening on the top of the Skyview Tower. Once inside, you can freely use the Puripad, open the doors, and fly up to unlock this part of the map. Upland Zorana Skyview Tower is the 7th Skyview Tower on the list. It is located east of Hyrule and directly west of Zora's domain. Coordinates for this tower are 2858, 0582, 0379. There is no significant weather to get to this tower, so again, no elixirs or special armor are required for this one. Climb the many mountains to make it to this one, and then when you get here, you will see that there is filth everywhere, especially blocking the door. There are many splash routes around this tower, so be sure to get those for this. This will definitely help you a ton. Throw by pressing R1 and up on the D-pad, or you can fuse a splash fruit to your arrow to hit the door and clean up the mud with the splash fruit. You can also use a choo-choo jelly for this as well. Scan your Puripad, get shot out of the tower, and now you have this part of the map unlocked. Ulri Mountain Skyview Tower is the 8th tower we will go over. It is located on the northeast side of Hyrule, directly between Akala and Lanayru. Coordinates for this tower are 3493, 2019, 0188. There is no significant weather here, so no elixirs or gear are needed. When you arrive here, there will be a bokoblin and a moblin that will try to end you, so make sure you are ready to battle. After beating them, you will not be able to just walk in and freely use this Skyview Tower. An Aracuda has stolen the terminal for this Skyview Tower. All you have to do is simply shoot it with an arrow to one-shot it, retrieve the terminal, put it close to where it's supposed to be, and then Salson will install it for you. Now you can use the Skyview Tower per usual. Mount Lanayru Skyview Tower is next. This one is located on Mount Lanayru on the east side of Hyrule, just north of Hateno Village. Coordinates for this tower are 3846, -1307, 0539. For this one, the weather is cold, so be sure to have your elixirs or your gear ready. There is a lot of ice on the mountain around this Skyview Tower that you will be climbing, so you can either make a sticky elixir for slip resistance or have the slip resistant armor, or you can do what I did and just look for the bits of mountain between each ice pillar to climb up. This mountain is relatively large, but what I did was travel to Hateno Village, went up to the top to the farm, walked to the pasture behind the farm, and then made my way up to the mountain this way, as you can see it from back there. When climbing this, the top of the ice pillar sort of serve as platforms where you can rest. So as you're climbing the parts of the mountain you can't climb and you get to an ice platform, you can just kind of jump on the top of it, rest a little bit, and then continue climbing where you're allowed to climb. Once at the tower, you can just freely walk in, scan your Puripad, and unlock this area of the map. Rabella Wetlands is our next Skyview Tower. It is located in the southeast of Hyrule, just south of Necluda. Coordinates for this shrine are 2419, -2766, 0222. There is no significant weather here, so you don't have to worry about any elixirs or armor. For this one, there is spikes around it just like the other one we had. The problem is, it will more than likely be raining when you're here. So you can't just shoot it by fusing a fire fruit to your arrows like we did before, because the rain will put out the fire before it burns completely. And the thorns are so close to the door, you can't just skip past them. Luckily, there are building materials near here, and what you have to do is build a roof over top of the thorns to keep the rain out, and then either throw a fire fruit on top of it or fuse a fire fruit to your arrow and shoot it per usual. After the fire burns the thorns, you can then walk in, scan your Puripad, and get the location for this surrounding area. Sahasra Slop Skyview Tower is the 11th tower we will be going over. It is located southeast of Lookout Landing, directly north of West Necluda and the Dueling Peaks, and west of Kakariko Village. Coordinates for this tower are 1344, -1170, 0166. There are no weather issues here, so no elixirs or special armor needed. When you arrive here, Bilson will tell you that the doors are sealed shut. There's no way you can get in the tower. And the top is not open on this one like the Eldin Canyon one. But Bilson does randomly mention mushrooms in a cave, so this is our hint. There is a cave on the side of the Skyview Tower, right above where the Talus Fortress is walking around. Go inside the cave, bust open the wall with a two-handed weapon or with a rock fused to a weapon, and you're going to want to pay attention to your mini-map here, because our goal is to get directly to the point in the cave that is directly underneath where the Skyview Tower icon is on our mini-map. You may have to fight some horriblins in order to get here, and the best way to do that is just to headshot them with your bow so that they can drop off the ceiling, and then you can attack them. There will be another set of rocks you have to bust open, and then when you get inside of this room behind those rocks, you will see the Skyview Tower is directly above you, so then you can use Ascend to go upwards and then get directly inside of this Skyview Tower. Remove the sticks that are jamming the sliding doors. Bilson will then fix the tower. Now you can scan your Puripad, jump up, and receive the map for this area. Popla Foothills Skyview Tower is number 12 on our list. It is located south of Lookout Landing on the southeast of Daya Lake, and the coordinates for this shrine are 0602, -2119, 0098. There are no significant weather problems here, so no need for an elixir or special armor. When you make it to this tower, you'll be met with a well where someone is screaming to help them. If you ignore it and try to go inside the tower, you will see that the tower is not working. So what you have to do is go inside the well, bust the rocks, and then there will be a small hallway. At the end of this hallway, Emerson says he is trapped inside here because he set off a trap. He points you to a switch on the other side of the hallway, but it's blocked by these bars. The easiest thing to do is looking forward at the prison he's in, ascend directly up here. Then when you're out of the cave, walk straight, since the hallway he was in was straight to the cave entrance, and down this hill over the cliff you will see the cave entrance. When you get inside of the cave, walk forward, and then you'll see the button you can stand on to free Emerson, and then he'll give you 50 rupees. You can now just ascend out of the cave, go to the Skyview Tower, scan your Puripad, and get the map for this area. Our 13th tower on this list is Hyrule Field Skyview Tower. It is located south of Central Hyrule and Lookout Landing, between Lake Hylia and Hyrule Field. Coordinates for this shrine are -0753, -1019, 0064. There's no extreme weather here, so you won't be needing any elixirs or special clothing. This tower is guarded by an enemy base, and you can certainly fight these enemies, but if you don't have strong enough weapons or very many hearts, you can honestly just run past or sneak past all of these enemies. When you do that, you can just scan your Puripad, and then you'll get the map for this area. Gerudo Canyon Skyview Tower is number 14 on this list. It is located southwest of Hyrule, right outside of the Gerudo Desert. Coordinates for this shrine are -2432, -2178, 0307. The weather here is a little cold, so you may want a cold resistant elixir or some cold resistant armor. You can either climb mountains to get here or ride a fallen piece of the Sky Island and jump off and paraglide closer to the Skyview Tower. There is an NPC on this bottom platform at coordinates -2399, -2186, and 0275. Salson tells you the Skyview Tower is out of order and that the elevator is also broken, but that you can attach some weight to the end of this piece of metal on the top in order to bring it up. You do not have to talk to him before you bring him up, so if you're already at the tower, don't worry, you can still do this. Just fuse enough of these metal crates to the metal object and it should counterbalance. And since this game has so many different solutions, you can always just attach something to the short side, pull it down, and then pull Salson's side up. Talk to him and then he will fix the Skyview Tower, allowing you to be able to scan your Puripad, unlocking this part of the map. Gerudo Highlands is the last tower on this list. It is located southwest of Hyrule and north of Gerudo Desert. Coordinates for this shrine are -3959, -1313, 0422. The weather here is cold, so be sure to have elixirs or some warm clothing to get this one. Climb the mountains to get to this tower, and you'll notice that it is snowed in. There's a note on a tent that hints that you have to go inside the cave in order to get this tower, and it is exactly right. The cave is located not too far from the tower, right behind the tent. When you go in the cave, there are building materials you can use. Place a piece of wood in the water, stand on it, and let the water take you downstream. There is a bubble frog in here, so be sure to headshot it so that you can get the bubble gem to save up for the awesome gear from Colton. If you don't know where to use these bubble gems at, I have a video I will link right here that you guys can check out. Now look at your mini map, see where the Skyview Tower is on there, make sure your platform is directly underneath it, then use Ascend to go directly inside of the Skyview Tower. Luckily everything is working normally, so you can scan your Puripad and then it'll shoot you out and you can unlock this part of the map. Be sure to check out all these other Tears of the Kingdom videos I have right here on the channel. If you guys have not subscribed yet, be sure to do that so you don't miss any more Tears of the Kingdom content. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have an amazing day and God bless.